is back. Must be on G's end because he stopped on VK2. Did he stop on VK2, Jonathan? It says I'm going. I'm talking to myself. That's okay. Sometimes you got to talk to yourself. I'm talking to myself. I'm going to talk to myself till somebody tells me I'm back. Because I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not. I might be invisible. I'm invisible to people who watch television. I ain't invisible to me. I'm still talking. I still see me. All right, hang on. Go to YouTube. It says live right there. Oh, you know what? Maybe it says live and you click on it. It says 3 people are here. I'm here for you, G. Thank you, Hillary. Are you? Wait a minute. It says 10-4. Okay, you're there. Okay, you're back. I didn't go nowhere, Max. I ain't going nowhere. Oh, this is weird. Oh, did it start a whole new video? Crazy. Cray. Well, I can sit here and run my mouth till we figure out what just happened. Man's best friend. G. Is that where I left off, Hillary? Man's best friend? Did I leave off? But this is weird because the comments here aren't equating what I'm seeing over here. So maybe it's a new video. Maybe they thought I need to start fresh. Maybe I was a little funky over there. Was I a little funky? Did I get funky? I was getting funky with it. Because it doesn't look, I can see the comments right here. And the comments here are, oh, it's a new beginning. I need a new beginning, Desert. I was a little funky. That's what they told me on Facebook. They said that I was asking why I go to Facebook jail too much. Somebody said it might be my breath. I was like, yeah, you know what? It kind of locked in the house eating onions and garlic. I put onions and garlic on everything. That, it could be my breath. It reset. Okay, so it's a new video. He's up on VK. No, because I see Jonathan. Oh, this is creepy. Oh, this is just weird. I don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on. I'm gonna let it, let's see if it solidifies. I see different posts in here. Sandra says she's in the house. Don't eat garlic and onion, Sandra, and everything, because it'll put you in Facebook jail if you do. You get funky. Ain't nothing wrong with the funk. Ain't nothing wrong with the funk, Hillary. We want the funk. Ah! Gotta have that funk. We want the funk. All right. Now I'm just waiting. I'm running my mouth. I'm trying to see if this syncs up. Because Jonathan, oh, you know what? It must be a new video then. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's go over here. The problems with the modern world. Problems with the modern world. All right, let me go here. And let's see if it's a new video on my feed. Because, and then the people here, y'all gonna have to go on over there. Oh, it's new, Lori? Okay, so it is new. He gets knocked down when he gets up again. You're never gonna get him down. No, Lori, you ain't get me down. You gotta get back up. You gotta get back up. So it does look like it's a new one. Yeah, it is a new one. It's a new one. Let me click on this right here. Hang on, and it messed everything up. I don't even know what where I left off. I'm not even sure where I left off. It's a new video. Well, you know, there is a narrative that needs to be controlled. You can't just go in the Truman Show and start telling people what's going on. That's what Tom Barrett's doing. That's what Lori's doing. That's what Jonathan's doing. That's what Hogo was doing. That's what Daniel's doing. That's what Megs is doing. And Christina's doing. If you do not subscribe to these people on multiple platforms, they're not gonna be long-term friends. Because they gotta knock you down. Okay, it is a new video. Okay, so let's go over here. Let me get the real-time comments. And I need to go over to the old video and say, what are you idiots doing? We said we was gonna start a new video. How come y'all still over there? Y'all, everybody over here. I'm enjoying the end of the world though. I'm enjoying the end of the world. When I stopped watching Tiger King, now I'm enjoying it. There we go. All right, it's new. Boom, there we go. I'm enjoying the end of the world, but you cannot watch Tiger King the whole thing. Anybody watch the whole thing? I'm so sorry I recommended that for y'all. I'm sorry. I make mistakes. I make all kind of mistakes. And now, oh Lord, just watch episode 3 and stop. Good morning. All right, looks like people are coming over. How y'all doing this morning? Tom Barnett, he knocked it out the box. Let me go to VK. Let me see if did VK end also. It's a new video. No, VK maintained. Ooh, so VK kept the robustness. But Google didn't. I'm mad at Google. Why am I mad at Google? I got a pop-up for Google. Something pissed me off. Something Corbett said. Did y'all watch Corbett's last video? You need to watch James Corbett's last video, Corbett Report. He talked about how everyone came outside and they thanked the nurses and the doctors. Let me go on record, I'm agree with Corbett. I thank the nurses and the doctors for what they do to help people. The system needs to burn to the ground and let nothing but ashes remain. Okay, I appreciate people who put themselves in harm's way, but I will not let you take ignorance in a system modeled on disease management in any solution they give me. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy to go to the people who cause the problem. Say, hey, can y'all help us? Can you help us solve the problem? And most people sitting in their houses waiting for the demons of death, the harbingers of death to bring solutions. Anyway, good morning. I forgot what I was going to say. I got notification for your video on my VK, the notification, and the video has disappeared from my VK. That's the weirdest thing, Diana. I have no idea, but you know what? We had issues in the beginning. So go click on my profile. Maybe it started a new video over there also. I have no idea. Diana, it's a freaky time. We're literally in the twilight zone, so I'm not even gonna tell you I know what's going on. The world can end any moment. Any moment, Diana. Just make sure you tell everybody who you love that you love. I love you. Be safe. Take care of yourself. I tell everybody that. I tell my family that, like, oh, you're starting to take it seriously now, aren't you? I said, no, I do not take Truman World seriously. Nope, I do not take the Truman Show serious at all. I never take the mainstream. I am not taking Babylon seriously. I might be a Babylonian, but I'm here in chains, okay? I don't believe in things that don't work. I don't believe in inefficient medical systems. I don't believe in CDCs. I don't believe in any of his ignorance. I don't believe in ABCs, CBSs, NBCs, or Foxes, okay? I don't believe in any of that, except for the foxes that get in the garden and start rummaging through stuff trying to get chickens. I believe in them foxes, because them foxes are smart. Woo! Oh, I got work to do. My problem is out my big mouth. Out my big mouth, I get in trouble. So now I need to spread out. I'm trying to spread the idea of like growing food for poor people so they don't have to rob you. So I think I have to make a trip to the city. I got a city not too far from me. It's got a lot of po folks that believe the television. And we need to make sure we set up some growth facilities. So I'm trying to work on a few things bigger. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. That's why I shouldn't even open my mouth no more. But I have to. You got to do what's right. You got to do the things that are right. And I'm like literally building a bucket of problems, a bucket of problems for myself. It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. How do you feed increasingly more and more people in food deserts? And that's something I've been thinking about for a couple decades now. Because I'm an engineer, I can't shut it off. My mind is always trying to solve problems. All right, are we stable now? Can somebody hit VK? Make sure that's good and going. And I can go over to, I gotta check Periscope. Anyway, good morning, Megs. Good morning, Hillary. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Lori. I went offline. Yeah, I don't know. It might have been my side. I hope, you know what? It could be the deep state. It could be the deep state trying to get me. I'm saying truthful things. It probably ain't even that. They probably had nothing to do with that. It's like, nope, it was a hiccup on the wire. I'm not going to lie to y'all. They're going to delete anybody. It's going to be that Tom Barnett. That's who they're going to delete. They don't even want me. Because I'm not trainable. It's like on Facebook. They just, we just going to put him on a repeating loop to just put him in jail every day. Because he's going to recidivize no matter what we say to him. He's just going to say things that he believes is true. He thinks he's a human being. He thinks he's a wolf that actually works. Not a dog. I'm nobody's dog. And I'm damn sure ain't the Truman. I believe it. I've been seeing the lights fall my whole damn life. I've seen the military industrial complex fall. I've seen nationalism fall. I've seen politics fall. I've seen the medical industry fall. I've seen the pharmaceutical companies big time fall. And the people who work for them fall. I've seen the whole UFO aliens thing fall. Damn it, Loch Ness is falling too. Did y'all see that? They got new pictures of Loch Ness. That doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me one bit. I bet you was a big old Loch Ness in there. Now they're getting good theories. Did y'all see that theory? I can't stand the UK. Hell, they're lying to everybody. Something about the Queen in the 1990s or 2000 something. I gotta say some stuff that sound crazy just in case I'm hearing static in my ear. They might be listening in. I gotta say something crazy real quick. And it's crazy because we're insane and we live in insane times. But in like 2000 something, the Queen said we need to get some dolphins and send them into Loch Ness and put the cameras on them to go find Nessie. And the theory is it comes out the UK that they found Nessie and they caught Nessie. And right after, like 2 years after she said that, that's when the law started going up that it's a protected species. Yeah. And then Switzerland apparently has a Swissy. I don't know. I don't know anything about Swissy. I know North America has one too, but I don't know. I think about the coelacanth, and I think about you know what? If the pharmaceutical industry was a whole lie from the beginning, from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, and you actually can't catch viruses, anything could be true. Okay, anything. We literally live in Truman world. We live in the Truman Show. They control the lights, the air, the oxygen, the food, the land, the internet, and everything on it. So anything can be true from my perspective anymore. Let me see. Who's that? Zoom is good. I haven't even tried Zoom. I have to look at Zoom. Let me see. Do-over. Yep, Mags, it's a do-over research. A reset. Ain't nothing wrong with the funk, and that's not. He's getting knocked down. Got that. Funny on and off. That's funny how that works. Y'all see what I'm saying though in terms of lights falling? Because you can't tell anybody that they live in the Truman Show. You can't go, who is that? Susie? You can't say, hey, Susie. Hey, listen, girl, let me tell you something. I did that before. You didn't know you're going to blue screen people. They're going to go nuts and crazy like on Wayward Pines. You can't tell people all the truth. They'll shut down the blue screen and they'll go do crazy stuff. Watch Wayward Pines. You can't tell people on the Truman Show, but you can point out the lights. That's the best thing you can do. You can go see Truman, say Lori locked in the Truman, say, hey, Lori, that's a light in your hand. There's only one reason why the light is up there. And you let her slowly start to put the pieces together, do the research, start to figure it out herself. But you're not even allowed to, I think, post most truthful things. In fact, if you watch the Tom Barnett video, his little quick talk, 10 minutes, we'll do a watch party after this, you'll understand. Or somebody post a link. That would be nice. Somebody post a link. You will realize that he's talking in code. He's saying some truthful things, but there's some things that he's not saying intentionally because they wait for you to say those things and they can remove you from the Truman Show. And if we're going to be in the Truman Show, we got to act like we're in the Truman Show. But every now and then we see a light fall, you just look at that light and say, you know what? There's a reason that they want to inject you. There's a reason that they want to inject you. And that's what his point was. If you read between the lines, there's a reason. And he actually answered a big question for me because I was always trying to, he might have, I'm not sure. So I was trying to figure out, it's like, I never get the flu. I don't know why I don't get the flu. Why don't I get the flu? How come I don't get colds? I was feeling kind of alone and by myself sometimes. I feel like, how come y'all get it and I don't get to get it too? Y'all get to stay home from work. I don't never get sick. I don't know what's going on. What's wrong with me? I've never in my life got the flu shot. I have never. The last time the doctor stuck me, and I might be telling on myself, I might have some wellness police show up at my door this afternoon, give me some shots. But the last shot I recall, I was in, I think, middle school. I think I was in middle school about to play football. That's the last time the doctor stuck me. Ain't nobody stuck me since. And so I don't know what that means, but my shot records is probably out of date, and they're gonna stay out of date. They're gonna stay out of date. Because ain't nobody sticking nothing in me. You know there's only one way a human being can catch a virus. Yeah, one way. I know. The Ayurvedic medicine sound good, and we done had that great debate about why, put your head under the hot water and the heat and listen, and if it works, it prevents some bacteria for cold, because you can get cold from bacteria, blah, blah, blah. But we need to trust the reality of the situation. And that is that all of this is a lie. The only question is why? Why? But we all feed into it in our own way. We all feed into it in our own ways. According to my grandmother, Native Americans lived in harmony with the wolves till settlers started hunting them to extinction. I believe that, Susan. I would believe that. Wolves are not stupid. They're highly intelligent creatures. Highly intelligent. And I could see where you could establish a relationship with a wolf, with a pack of wolves, with bears. There's an understanding with bears. Like we said, bears don't want to eat you. Wolves don't want to eat you. They don't like us. We nasty, we funky. We don't take showers and baths, and we put all this antibacterial Purell on our hands. They don't want to eat us. We're going to kill them. They're not that stupid. I could see a relationship being developed, and over time it grew. But when the wolf needs to eat you, the wolf needs to be, because the wolf is true. The wolf has to be true in that example, right? Like there's such thing as a dog. A dog is broken. It's a broken wolf. The wolf is true. That wolf has cubs at home. That wolf need to eat you. Doesn't matter what kind of working out and tribal stuff we got with the humans down the street, down around that bush over there where their huts are at. When the cubs are hungry, it's time to feed them. And that was the analogy I mentioned with Lori and the rest of these doctors who will tell you the truthful things when they're not under contract, when they're not providing you a service. A lot of them will tell you the truth. They'll turn on their industries. And Lori is true to being a human. And so, hey, we got babies that are hungry. We got babies that are dying. We got babies getting autism. We got a lot of problems that we got to deal with. You know, and that's what I say. Same reason people go into police. They go into police because they want to be a hero. They go into the vast majority go into the military because they want to be heroes too. And the vast majority of people go into healthcare, they want to help. But they got to remain wolves. And that means that you got to bite the hand that feeds you. Those are the only doctors I trust. Those are the only nurses I trust. The only people I trust are people who will turn on the system that's giving them a retirement. All right, there we go. Oh, look, VK is back. A dynamite new video from the Crow House this morning. Okay, your government is lying. You cannot catch cuckoo virus. You can't, Patricia. Are you sure? That sounds like fake news to me. All the Purell and to be careful with the toilet paper and wipe your hands. They kind of got me a little bit, Patricia. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I go to the gas station, I get that tissue, I got a cloth and I'll hold the handle. I mean, bacteria is a real thing. You know, you can catch a cold from bacteria, but you can't catch no virus. And it's weird. It's weird that we live in this world, that you have people, doctors, people been to medical school, people been treating people. But this is what happens when you get big. When you get big, you will speak for the system or you'll have your license removed. You will speak for the system or you won't ever be on TV again. And this is what I'm saying about having a system based on capital. If your system is based on capital, your system is based in profit. Everybody needs profit, which means everybody's a profiteer. And the only way you keep that system up, the only way you game everybody, is you convince everybody, all the profiteers, that there's a good way to profit and a bad way to profit. And it has to be a menagerie of from the worst evils to the worst goods of this is good and bad, good and bad. I'm a trade off. This is kind of good. This is badish. And as long as you got capital, you will always have a system that's based on profiteering of each other. And I think that's a bad idea. Susan, we all learned, oh goodness, it just went up. All right, let me go back up. There's a lot of comments. Real people. That's how you know real people, because real people say real things. And they're always not going to be popular, you know? And it was a big boom, booyah. And that's who you got to trust. You got to trust people who will turn on the money. End of the world, beginning of a new one. Yes, Susan, that's what I think it is. I think it's the end of a horrible, horrible, horrible world and the beginning of something beautiful. Now it's going to be rough in the middle. It's going to be rough, like weird things I can't understand. Things I can't understand. You know what I'm gonna do this real quick. I don't think I saw anybody post it, so I'll post this right here. I saw some weird things yesterday. Who was that? Pat Riley sent me that. Pat Riley get me in trouble. I had so many friends. This is the people I love the most. People put me in Facebook jail the most. There's some people you can't even share posts by. I got some friends, and I literally touched the post. All I did was touch it. I didn't do anything. I didn't even share it yet. I didn't even watch it yet. I just hit share. And the moment I hit share while I was watching in another screen, boop, Facebook jail. Oh my goodness. All right, hang on. All right, let me post this. That's oh, it's too long to post. I can't post. Okay. Well, we'll do the Tom Barrett later. I need to go on over and approve this post because I can't post on my own timeline. And somebody posted a new video, I think. You blame the jerk. Who wait a minute, Kalo Cuckoo, why are you blaming the jerk? Why are you blaming Steve Martin? Why are you blaming him? What did he do? Steve Martin didn't do nothing. He's just trying to make money. He's a profiteer in the system like everybody else. Everybody else. You can join it. You can join the team. Oh, look at that. I don't have any. Nope, nothing there. I've been listening to George Carlin. George Carlin has been blowing it up. I absolutely do not have anybody trying to share on my timeline, which means that, oh no, we're not playing this. Okay. They do understand. Look, links on my timeline, Trish Blankenship and Lori shared it on my timeline 24 minutes ago. Let me go onto my timeline. I bet you ain't a damn thing because I was just there a second ago. Nope, nothing on my timeline. All right, that's how we get down. It'll appear later. It's not gonna be there now. Got you again, Megs. They always get me. They always get me. G, talk about your take on the blackout starting tomorrow. Ooh, yeah, that is a thing, Hillary. That's a thing. It's a thing to black out the internet. If y'all have not heard of that, I don't think it's a thing to tell us when. That's the part I pause at. I pause with the when, because thou shalt not know the time of the coming of the deep state. The deep state come when it want to, when it went to, and where is that? But there's something weird about it that they tell us what they do before they're going to do it, and that's why we call it a plandemic, because they literally planned the demic. They're not lying about that. They literally planned this. So a little bit of logic.
No, my government would never turn off the internet on me. They would never, ever turn off the internet in the media.
Yeah, they sure would. They sure would. I had a post the other day where I talked about why. First of all, just to use a little bit of logic. In your country, and I need to put this on the screen. Well, no, not this one. And make sure they didn't delete it. They like to delete posts like a day later. Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed that, but they'll do it in a way they're getting very subtle with things. Hang on, I gotta put this on the screen. First of all, if you live in a nation that has an internet kill switch, if you live in a nation that's doing censoring online and social media, that's all Hillary's talking about. It's just full blown, right? It means that you have a government that has a model of removing you from the information source when it benefits them. If you have a government that tried to get the internet kill switch and censoring, it's not illogical that they won't shut everything off from everybody. And this is what I think why, if it happens tomorrow, why they would do it. Pat Riley sent me this post. He's a brother who wrote the song at the end of every episode. I think it's this post right here. I think this is why. And I'll tell you why. This is just how my mind works. I always try to read between the lines of what's going on. And we already knew that the National Guard was coming out. And most of us wanted that. I want that. I absolutely want the National Guard. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I believe in, well, I don't believe. That's too strong. Too strong a word. I need local government to send out people who we live around related to us to make sure that the streets stay safe. I'd rather them handing out food and water and taking care of people, making sure we can get delivery trucks full of food to people who live in the inner city, out to the trailer park. So we need to keep calm. I appreciate them being on the street. And so we knew they were coming. That's not a surprise to anybody. I mean, it was a big train. If you saw that picture, oh my God, if you saw the video, it was going. But even with that, that's, looking at all these vehicles, you're like, oh my gosh, where the hell are we at? What the hell is going on? It feels like the Gulf Storm again, watching all that equipment. But in reality, that's a lot of towns, a lot of cities we got. They have to deploy in mass numbers to make sure that they stay safe. So I get that. What I don't get is that when you send it to me, I can read it, I can watch it, and then when I try to send it to 20 of my closest friends, it gets deleted. That's my problem. My problem is not that, and the post is still up. The post is still up. The video as of last night is still up. Watching that long sea voyage. But why would you delete it? And who told you to delete it? Why would social media be deleting and keeping the original video up with had 5 views and 2 shares? It was obvious that there's censoring going on. So to answer your question, from my perspective, a government that is got some nefarious ideas in mind and doing the things that they said they were going to do, when they start hiding stuff and they tell social media they need to start deleting stuff, they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to control this Truman Show that we all seem to be in. So do I think they would cut off the internet? They absolutely would. They absolutely would. Do I think they're going to do it tomorrow? I don't know. I don't think that they give us those level of details. I think they'll use it when they need to use it. And if they're rolling out big convoys and they just need everybody to stay calm, and that's a theory too. But yeah, you want everybody to stay calm. They don't want people sharing these things. Then yeah, they'll shut it off. But my fear, Hillary, is it's going to have the opposite effect. I don't think that our lords know us that well. I don't think our kings and lords are that in touch with us. I don't think they understand. I don't think they watch Jericho. Remember I told y'all to watch Jericho? Oh, YouTube's unstable too? Okay. When you shut off people's contact with each other, oh, you know the thing to move down. When you shut off people's contact with one another, they're not going to stay in their house. That's the problem. That's my problem. When you shut off the internet, when you shut off Netflix and Hulu, a lot of people almost done with Netflix. Almost done. Did y'all see the meme? It's like, yeah, I'm almost done with Netflix. A lot of people almost done with it. As long as people are entertained, they're in contact with their family, they know mama's okay, they know the brother's okay, the sister's okay, then everything's okay. When you turn off that contact with other people, it's like the experiment with the smartphones, right? Where they take the smartphone away from the select group of people, and after 24 hours of no cell phone, because they're used to all those endorphin hits in their brain, how their brain works, it actually changed in terms of how it's designed, or I guess the types or neuron connections, whatever all of that is, because we're constantly in contact with all the people we love. We know they're safe, we know they're safe, we know they're safe, we know they're safe for 20 years. And all of a sudden you shut that off. Now we don't know if they're safe. Uncertainty slips in. I don't know what's going on. Rumor starts. If they shut it off, Hillary, tomorrow, and be forewarned, if anybody in government actually sees this video, it's on you. Whatever happens next is completely on you. But you will have chaos if they shut off the internet for 10 days. People won't sit in their house quiet. People can't sit in their house for 24 hours. In those studies, the human beings had, their brains were indiscernible from mental illness at that point. And so, yeah, it's possible, but it would be a crazy idea. It would be the beginning of a horrible, horrible era, which would still end well. But it would take us into some really bad times. Yes, Corbett was wonderful. He was fantastic, wasn't he? All right, everything's buffering. I don't know. Maybe it's because everybody's watching Netflix. Maybe they finished Netflix. Everyone's trying to finish Hulu now. It's like doing a go-to meeting. Okay, you don't have to show yourself if you don't want to go to the go-to meeting. Okay. I'll take a look at the other platform next. I don't know too much about go-to meeting. Skyping might work, but it would be chaotic. Yeah, it could be, but we'll jump around on platforms as we need to. Actually, Beaufont sent me something interesting yesterday, so I'm looking at that as a new platform. Okay, I'm just reading through comments at this point in time, and then we'll take a peek and see what's going on. I'm just curious about your commentary. We are in the Truman Show. That's all I got in terms of today, in terms of we just need to be immune to the lies. We need to be immune to the media. We need to know that the fake news is fake news. We need to know that you're not going to get anything truthful from for-profit news. Not anything that's not profiteering. We have a capital-based system and everybody's profiteering. And you got anything as big as a media, it's never going to tell you the truth. The number one side effect of not watching the mainstream media and believing it is being surrounded by little minions. It's surrounded by little pungent minions, mini-me's, mini-M's, M&M's. People who think they know what's going on and are very confident, but have no idea what's going on. New York City turns to mass makeshift morgues and hospitals during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That pop-up from Vice. Vice News, the fake news. I'm sorry, they are a fake news organization. They started grassroots, they got corrupt, and that is just trying to create pandemonium. It's trying to create a pandemic, and that's a problem. I have no interest in media stirring up more trouble for people. We need to cut this out. So, but Vice is making money. You know, outside of any sort of deep state attachment, they're making money and they're getting people to log in by feeding into the pandemonium. I feel for people trapped in New York City. I do too, Loco Coco, but you know what? I keep telling, I'm telling them now, and I told them then, it's not New York, it's New York, Detroit, Chicago, LA, San Francisco. Any like real dense parts of the city, you need to be on the outskirts, people. You need to have an exit strategy, an exit plan and strategy, which I guess could be a strategy, to be away from people. The zombie apocalypse will happen if they shut that power off. The zombie apocalypse will happen if they shut the internet off. And you don't want to be in a zombie apocalypse. They're not going to be after your brains. They're going to be after your food, your phone, your water, your toilet paper, all of that nonsense. Being in the city is a horrible place to be. I'm out in the suburbs, and I'm in the sticks a little bit, but even here, people are leaving. I see the caravans, and hopefully we laugh about this, like I tell everybody. Hopefully we prepare, and like, oh, remember that time you told me to leave the city? I left the city, ain't nothing happened. And we can have a good joke and laugh about it. But you always want to be prepared. It's better to do it than don't do it. Although I am impressed, because last time I went to Netflix, Doomsday Preppers is trending. It's trending. It's moving up. People watching Doomsday Preppers. Good. Now you want a little bit of fear to set in. You don't want panic to set in. You want people to let a little bit of fear to set in. It's like, okay, I need to make some adjustments to how I'm living life. Big farms and huge marsh preserve here. Okay. It's good to have big farm, Megs. I mean, like I said, on the other side of this, everything's going to be about food. They're saying, in fact, the Federal government said yesterday, I got a pop-up. That's the only way I even know news is if y'all tell me if I get a pop-up, but I won't watch it. Not on COVID nonsense. It's just, I don't need that in my brain. I don't need any of that in my subconscious. The Fed said yesterday, or the federal government said yesterday, what is it? They're expecting 40 million people to be unemployed on the other side of this. And so you do the math. 40 million people unemployed, 240 million people in the country, or is it 320? I forgot how many monkeys we got here. That is an apocalypse. They say the numbers are greater than the last Great Depression. So we've already passed that. And this is assuming, right, that we go this another 30 days. Personally, I already think it's now. I think that they're always trying to shine sunshine on it. I think it's a lot worse than that. Which is why we are in a position to make a modification to all the industries that did this, which is why I love it. We're in a position to actually make a modification to the system that requires these things happen. I used to say that New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia area is prime location for depopulation, large number of people in a small area. I shouldn't have talked it up. Well, that's common sense, Susan. And if you are somebody who wants to get back at America, I don't know, let's say that they've been blowing up children and bombing nations and destroying things, lying, stealing their resources, putting in puppet governments from Latin America to Mexico, all over the Middle East and Africa and parts of Europe, bribing their governments into giving their, because they're all working for the same central bankers. I'd say that now is probably a time. And that's why I think there are multiple things that are happening, Susan. I think not the virus, because remember, we got to change how we speak. Once you learn, you got to update. And I learned something today. Brother, what is his name? I already forgot his name. Tom Barnett explained it. If you are bacteria and you want to live in humans, the whole ecosystem is being destroyed, as Sadhguru said. All the deer are leaving and gone, the lions, the tigers, more tigers in human captivity in America than in the wild. You're gonna have to find a new species to live in. We'll call it the human being. And you're gonna focus on areas where there are lots of them. If you're a freedom fighter organization, I don't like to say terrorist organization, but you are people in this particular country, which does not actually own itself, which is owned and run by central bankers. If they use it as the tip of the spear to blow up your nation, you're going to strike where the most people are. Part of me, in the early theories in a lot of this, is that there was some sort of a terroristic threat or a threat from another country. This is when you'll hit. You won't strike when we're strong. You're going to strike when people are scared. You're going to strike when people are watching the news and they believe the hype and they're ready to get out in the street and act pandemonious. We're in perilous times, but worrying about it's not going to help anything. Preparing is all you can do. You're right. Fear is the worst, Christine. When people get scared, bad things happen. Unfortunately, fear is how you make profit, right? We built a whole system based in fear. Every commercial you see on television, They are either trying to scare you into doing something and buying a product or going somewhere, getting a vacation, or they try to use sex to get you there. That's it. They got two methods. And so in trying to do whatever's going on, they have to use fear. Unfortunately, that's what terrorism is too. They use fear, and other nations use fear as well. And so I think you got this whole apocalypse of what's happening. I don't think it's any one thing. You know, my Trump friend saying he's going after the child traffickers and the Q people. And the other people say, well, the Democrats are trying to fix this. And the other people say, well, Italy did this. And the other people say, well, China's doing this. And others say, well, Russia's doing. And I think on all levels, you have profiteering, and most of it's fear driven. You know, once again, if you have a system that's based in capital, everybody's a profiteer. No matter who you are, everybody's a profiteer. And all the big, powerful organizations are going to profiteer the most. And that's where that digital dollar and all that nonsense came from. I think it would be as bad in small towns because people stick together more close. Oh, it wouldn't be as bad as small people stick together more closely, IMO and experience. Well, yes, Megs, and there's some great common sense to that. Well, one, people have more land. There's more space in between them, and they have more land. People are still a little more old-fashioned, and there's more land. People still grow food, and there's more land. A lot more old people, because old people don't like to live in the city. A lot of them don't. So you have a lot more elder wisdom. And I don't think it would be as bad. Like, if you look at like chaos theory, chaos needs a lot of components in chaotic situations, right? In order to get that chaos really going, if you got 200,000 people in a small space, it's easy to get a crowd ramped up. You can get that group thinking, that fear and bubbling up, and really bad things are happening. But if you only got, 200 people in that area, it's like, well, you can only act up so much. You got to run a little distance before you find somebody else. It's crazy stuff happening. You get your sword, spear, whatever, you get to running. We gotta kill somebody. And you got that American diet. And you start slowing down. By the time you get to your neighbor's house, you're tired and exhausted. You're breathing heavy. You ain't trying to fight no fight. In the cities, people are closer together. So I think that is true. But if they've already said we are in Great Depression, greater than the Great Depression circumstance, then you should already know what you should be doing to be prepared for the other side of this. And that's a lot of what's in Doomsday Preppers. Outside of all the sugar they always shake on these reality shows, which is just like Tiger King. A lot of it's true, and a lot of it, they shake a lot of sugar to keep people tuned in. We have to remember that there's a lot of wonderful people too. Well, I think everybody's a wonderful person, man. I think everybody is. Everything is about environment and circumstance. Like even the people who don't get it, who are feeding into the mainstream media and the pandemonium and the pandemic. They're good people. They just believe things that others don't. I think all people are good people. I think every baby is a good baby. Every last one of them. Because have you met a baby you didn't like, Megs, and don't get the line? Because I know you do it all, the rest of the women. And the man, we kind of sometimes sit back like, yeah, he's cute. He's cute. You got to get that boog out his nose, little drool right there, and take care of some of that. All babies are good babies, but they're born into environments. And once they get into that environment, they get taught certain things, right? They have things taken from them. They have to be a profiteer within a profit-based system. They gotta have positive thoughts, Lord. You have to have positive thoughts. You can't go into the negativity. You cannot go in too deep into the dark. If one is able to stay warm-hearted, one might calm down the fearful ones. And this is true. Yes, Christine. Which is why the humor is important. I do appreciate, I'm seeing around the world, there are some very funny people. Very productive and hilarious people. Y'all suck as accountants, you suck as bankers, you stink as a doctor, you stink as a mechanic, can't build a house worth a damn, you can't even dig ditches. These people can make some funny, they can make some great memes. It's hilarious, from Instagram to VK to even on Facebook. There's some really hilarious people out there. A lot of people miss their calling. You suck for what you do in the chemical industry. And the chemical industry is one of the industries that needs to be toppled because it's one of the industries that took down our immune system profitably. But they're hilarious. You have to make people laugh. And I think that's how you can get there, Christine, is you have to get people to calm down. When people are excited, they don't think well, right? When they're calm, they can look at this light and know that it's a light, right? They can read the label. They can read that like, oh, military-industrial complex, huh? Why in the hell is this here? It just doesn't make any sense why it's here, right? When people are excited and they're scared and they're running, they're not actually going to pay attention to the fact that they're in some sort of a simulation. Remember, we're always in a simulation. We are always in a simulation. No question about that. Your brain is a simulator. It's simulating what you see. Your eyes are simulating. Your local government simulating. Your family is simulating. From the moment you're born, mommy and daddy are simulating. So the idea that the government and the mainstream media aren't simulating, the idea that people who are invested in things that go as shots in your arm aren't simulating, the idea that the chemical industry isn't simulating, the idea is ridiculous. We create simulations for each other in marriages. Come on, first dates. Hashtag save Tinder. Hashtag the prophylactic industry is probably needs some stimulus. It's probably there because people ain't doing that right now. At least I hope you're not. So they need some help too, but they don't need help. They need to collapse. They actually do. Laughter is great for the soul. Did someone say hilarious? Yes, Hillary, hilarious. Yes, somebody said that. Be careful because we say Hillary a lot. Hillary is not. There is no good context that name is used anymore except for this Hillary. Beaufont totally agreed. Just took longer to understand the concept. What did Beaufont agree? Where's Beaufont? Is he here? Did y'all tag him? I haven't seen him this morning. So let me see. Gerard. So I take it, you know, the real Tiger King has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from prison. Pro se lawful masses did a critique on him this morning. No, you know what, Miss Tree? I know he's fighting. And don't get me wrong, I'm not on his side, not on her side, not on anybody's side. It was very clear to me, Miss Tree, that show is crazy. that show is a great representation of global governments and the Democrat Republican Party and probably state level. And it was full of crazy. Nobody's clean. Everybody was dirty. Everybody was a profiteer. Everybody was nuts. There was barely any teeth, mullets, way too many of them. Guns and gun racks and tigers in the background, and everybody was a typical American in different ways. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, he was done dirty. They all were done dirty, and they're all dirty. They were all done dirty, and they're all dirty. It was just too much craziness to me, Mr. I had to stop at a certain point. I stopped at episode 4 because it was just too dark. I like to laugh. And I started feeling sorry for everybody on the show. I started feeling sorry for myself and the Democrats and the Republicans and the Americans and the Mexicans and the Middle Eastern. And I got to a point where I couldn't watch it. It was too much drugs and sex and violence and drugs and no teeth and bad brush and meth. And it was dark. It was dark, but I think it's good for people to see. I think it's good for people to see from a sociology perspective. I'm glad he is. And I think he's getting a lot of support. Because Cardi B, and I have no idea who Cardi B is backing him. And she's big in Hollywood. All right. Me neither. Never get the flu shot nor took hardly drugs from the pharmaceutical. And Christine, and people need to hear that. That's the only reason I'm here. It's the only reason now I'm here is because we actually have an opportunity to make some changes. But we have to educate people to stop going to the industries that created the problem to give us the solution. The industries that made all these people as sick as they are so that they would be susceptible to anything, including flu season, which is all I really focus on is flu season. It's flu season, it's flu season, it is flu season. You want to be healthy during flu season. Normalization of darkness sums up all mainstream entertainment. It does, Jonathan. And it was too dark for me. I couldn't do it. It was too dark for me. And plus it was a little weird. It pushed the limits a little bit. I don't know. I kind of didn't like, I always love seeing people who live what's called alternative lifestyles, which is no such thing because it's just people living how they feel they should or living how they were born to live. I just feel that it was a little degrading. Is that a word? The denigrating of certain types of people. Like it was like, oh yeah, I tell you, it's crazy. But I do appreciate the fact that it spanned all the categories that are out there. There were some of the people that did. I'm just scared they'll really close the border at San Yazardo tomorrow going south. Okay. Well, yeah, well, we know they're going to close the borders, Patricia. They have borders to keep people inside, never to keep anybody out. It's always to keep something in. In April 2019, the U.S. opened 10 inspection booths in the southbound lanes of San Yazardo. They are yet unstaffed. Well, and we know they're going to do that, Patricia. This is all based on the fear. This is all based on people yelling and screaming to the industry that caused the problem to give them the solution. Is everybody yelling and screaming to the large governments, not the small ones. I exclude the states and lower than that, but the big governments, the really big ones who allow for these industries to destroy human health as profitably as they have. They're allowing them and those corporations to give them the solution. And you can't really even say the solution half the time. I don't believe in people's belief systems and faith. And I can see that the V stuff is now a religion. It's absolutely a cult and a religion, and people who have no clue about anything believe it, and they're begging for it. And when you get enough people yelling and screaming and begging to the industries that cause the problem to come fix the problems, it's going to become forced, and you're going to have medical martial law. And when that happens, the apocalypse is going to start, Patricia. Because if you think I was aggressive about my stance before, before I watched Tom Barnett, now I watch Tom Barnett, and I get it. Ain't nobody putting nothing in me. You can put in. I'm not even gonna go there because last time I did this, it got shut down. So it's just not gonna happen. And so we need to educate people in what Christine said and what you're saying, which is this is where it's going. And if you want to stop it, we're gonna have to make some jokes. We're gonna have to laugh, dance, sing. We're gonna have to go and pretend like we're Italy playing ping pong across the balconies, dancing, having concerts, and Twister, e-Twister. We gotta have some internet Twister. We have to do some things to make people happy and get them to stop being so scared. Don't watch that show. What is the Bill Gates show on Netflix? You gotta watch the show on that Bill Gates saves everybody. No, I don't need to watch that. I don't need that in my subconscious. And meanwhile, what was the meme? I think that was a Susan meme. Julian Assange. Now you're starting to see how he feels. Imagine if you had to do this, but we can go outside. He couldn't go outside. Imagine if you had to do this for a decade. See, it's funny to talk trash when it's not you. It's funny, and all he did was tell people what was true. That's all he did. All right. Everything by surprise, but not really. Yeah, it wasn't. And that's Christina. It wasn't a surprise. People predicted this, and to me, it gives a lot of credibility to a lot of people who said that this was coming. Those are people that they're listening to, and that's why Doomsday Preppers is at the top right now. Now it's time to start listening to people that told you that this was coming, because it's here. All right, let me bring this up real quick. But I have not top 5 minutes of any coverage of flu season. I have not watched any of it. None of it at all. All I care about is what's happening in my local neighborhood. I really don't give two damns what a government at the top who took big lobbyist checks from the corporations that did this have said. I'm gonna put that there just in case it's something that we do need to talk about. I haven't watched no more than 5 minutes. No more than 5 minutes. All right, let me see. I did share something this morning to your timeline. Well, Christina didn't come through. I'm being watched. I don't think it's a person, but I think it's software. They're definitely watching my profile. For some reason, and I can't figure out why. But for some reason, I can't post anything. It's constantly Facebook jail, whatever. You can post something and usually your post will show up, but mine don't show up. Everything by surprise, blah, blah, blah. Hang on, let's move down. So for the most part, like Facebook, in terms of being effective, it's about messaging. That's the only thing that's effective, and they stopped that yesterday when I tried to let people know what was on that train. You can still message people, but I think when they realize that it's something that they don't want on their platform, they'll tag it, and anyone who tries to forward it, it won't go out. So anytime you get something that's very important, you probably have to message it, but the timelines aren't going to work. That's the only way you fight on Facebook at this point in time. Making mainstream news the only information. Well, right, Hillary. Well, I think when they do the darkness, they're going to shut down mainstream. They're going to shut down. That was what they said. It was everything, internet and mainstream. They're basically, which means that if that is true, then it's not to control the narrative. It's literally to make people do dumb stuff. It's literally after you have the National Guard out there, which are right now they're just helping. That's all they're doing. They're handing out water and food. You know, they're making sure people stay calm. They're making sure people stay in line. They're doing what sane people who are here to help do. And the only way to get people who have assault rifles to turn them on their neighbors is to get the people who are inside watching Netflix outside and acting stupid. Because people sit inside right now till they run out of Netflix and Hulu. But when it's quiet and it's dark and there's nothing else to do, they're gonna go outside. And then that's when you're gonna have trouble, because you're gonna have one person in the crowd yelling and screaming. And next thing you know, bad stuff is gonna happen. So I don't think the 10 days of darkness is to control the narrative. If the news is working, then sure. But if they shut it all off, it's because they're trying to start riots. They're trying to do what all the profiteers are always trying to do. They need to take some rights from people. They need to roll out draconian laws. They need to force the digital dollar down your throat. They need to change the world's reserve currency. And I think, like I said, I think there's so many things that are happening. I think it's crazy to say it's any one thing. Any states outlaw sex yet? The opposite, Megs. Actually, the opposite. Because Texas, what did Texas do? Texas says y'all can get your abortions now. Texas is the opposite. Texas, they took down the law for abortions. We're still waiting on the DEA and cannabis and all the Schedule I, all the things that people need to control their aggression, to control their psychopathy, to control their depression, so they don't do stupid stuff. We're waiting for y'all to take that down. Start sending out some seeds. But yeah, they've done that. So I don't know what's going on in that field, but they're letting people get their abortions now. A friend here had a dream about the collapse. Amazing, interesting, like a true vision. Too long to tell. We're good. And I think a lot of dreams are true, Christine. They've honored dreams for a long time. And I think that there is a lot of information when you dream. I think your brain adds sugar to it, or your subconscious. But that Akashic record interfacing with soul, I think that there's something in it. There's more traffic on my way to work. I love it. Well, yeah, Lori, people are coming out. People are defying it. People are actually starting to come out, which is a good thing. I don't believe, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I just don't believe the government has the right to tell you to go to your room. I think you're grown. I think that after 18, nobody tells you to go to your room. In the same way that they use that to make Julian Assange go crazy, they can certainly make their citizens go crazy so they can gain more power from them. I've seen less Popo around my way. Hillary, I don't see him at all. It's creepy. It's like I noticed that, and it's weird. I don't see him at all. I mean, very rarely. I saw more police officers than I've seen recently, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're getting trained. Maybe it's because they're staying at home. Maybe because they don't want people who work for the sheriffs to be out on the street. They want the National Guard or something else. I don't know. But I recognize that as well. In Italy, people start plundering the grocery shops, coming to the U.S. too. Yeah, well, there's a lot of plundering. There's a lot of looting going on, Christine. There's a lot of theft going on, especially from the hospitals and clinic stuff that I hear about. And mostly it's inside jobs. It's the employees that I heard of. But this is why you have to focus on food. You got to be sustainable. You got to be strong again. You cannot sit at home and wait for the government to import food, especially if you live in a country like the United States where nobody grows anything and most of the food's imported. You got to start growing again. Absolutely. Because those nations are going to need food afterwards, and they're going to make sure. It's like Mexico. Oh, like a lot of the food in my country, in America, it comes in through Mexico. But the problem is Mexicans need food too. And in stable times, they'll starve their own citizens to send tomatoes to America because they can get $4 or $5 for them. Where in Mexico, the people can only afford a couple pesos. They'll do that. But when the Mexicans are starving because we went through a global collapse and a shutdown for a couple months, the Mexican government is going to feed their people. And it doesn't matter if America paid for the seeds, doesn't matter if it's an American corporation, doesn't matter if the border is open. They're going to make sure that their people don't storm their mansions and kill them. Every system has to be sustained locally. Um, he's on the faculty of medicine at Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Who is? Let me see. I've seen a good number of walkers and kids playing outside in the park. Wish the sun would come out again soon. Yeah, I'm seeing people coming out and play, Megs. I'm also seeing that. Less train horns, too suspicious. You know what, Hillary? I guess it depends on where you are. I don't live in a place where I hear train horns all the time, but maybe because they're using the trains for something else. Yes, Hillary, now that you mention it, I have a train that passes through close to here, and I haven't seen or heard in a while. And also could be because people aren't traveling too. Could be because a lot of people aren't going to work. So there's a thought as well. 1,200 isn't going to provide for a family very long. They're creating chaos. They've planned it. Always 100 steps ahead. One thing they haven't planned for is unity and taking care of each other. And that's where you always want to go, Sue. It's where you always want to go. Wherever they don't want you to go. Like when you realize that lights are falling and you're in the Truman Show, you always want to do what your enemy doesn't expect. You want to go the opposite way. Maybe enemy is a strong word. We'll just say you always want to do the opposite of people who control the narrative want. You want to go the other way. Whatever they're driving you towards is not going to be a good thing. $1,200 is a drop in the bucket. That's why I agree with that theory that whatever's happening, there's some major force that has an agenda where they want to have massive big corporations and they want to eradicate the middle class. And that's what this is going to do. It's going to shut down small and mid-sized businesses. They're bailing out the big businesses, trillions of dollars, and they're sending people, penance, right? $1,200, something just to basically buy food and shut up. That's really what that is. It's buy food and shut up money. Buy food, here's some water, we'll keep your power on, we won't let them evict you, we won't let them take your house. Buy food, watch TV, and shut up. So a lot of things are happening. But that's going to create the 1930s condition where they get people used to living on $1,200 or $2,000 a month or whatever it is, where you're just feeding yourself, but you don't have the resources to become sustainable. That's why I think right now, while people have resources, you shouldn't be buying cheese nips, not Snicker bars, but seeds and preparing to get strong again. The people should come out on the streets. Well, everybody's good, Christine. People have food, they have lights and internet. Good things will happen. I'm kind of adverse to the idea in my country of people being on the streets because right now, too many people trust the mainstream media. Too many people believe in the nonsense. And so if they go out on the streets, it's going to be like collaborating and building each other up on the fear tactics of the media. It's going to be collaborating and building each up on the being mini pundits. Right? Because there's still more mini pundits than there are people who actually know how the world works. There's still more people who follow the news and just swallow the whole thing than question it. Well, look at that. Is that Bernie? Does Boeing deserve $60 billion bailout? Come on. It amazes me. But it's RT. I get it. They have to speak in a way that people will watch. And if you speak too much truth, assuming RT knows it, nobody will watch. They won't even have a station. Boeing literally should not exist. You should not have an organization that makes airplanes that murder people. That you shouldn't even exist. But besides the fact, if you actually are a capitalist nation and you don't have a communist president or socialist president, which America always has when it comes to Wall Street, then hell no, they shouldn't. They should go out of business. Why? Because there are other small, mid-sized airline companies that have better businesses. They have better models. They're sustainable. They can make profit. They can stick through the bad times, which are organic and natural, and they always come. This is always about cronyism. They're going to prop up the big businesses and let the small ones fail. There's no such thing as too big to fail. Anything too big needs to fail. I am out every day. No one looks sick. I haven't seen anyone look sick, Lori. They look crazy. They don't look sick. They got masks and gloves and all kind of crazy stuff, but they don't, I don't see anybody looking sick either. Lori, I'll be honest, I have not been washing my hands. I know you're going to be upset with that. Yeah. Most flu seasons I wash my hands. I do. I just really, I can't, I don't believe the narrative. I don't really believe the narrative. I don't. My immune system works, so I don't think I have tons to fear. I probably should because I usually do most flu seasons, but now I like to walk around the grocery store. Like I was out there last night and I saw these people in masks and so I was just, ooh, the air feel good. A lot of air, taste the air. That fresh air. Oh, I like this air. And they're like, They got gloves and stuff. And, you know, mind you, they might be someone who has some immune challenges and they should do that. I'm not saying don't do it. I just think it's ridiculous. I think if you're strong and you're healthy and you don't have a government that makes profit on destroying your immune system, you don't have to worry about it. And then that song played. I actually made a video of it. I didn't post it. I don't think I'm going to. It was Friday. It's Friday night and I just got paid. I was like, oh Lord, the insensitivity of a grocery store. The people out here, ain't nobody getting paid, and they're playing it's Friday night, I just got paid. So I had a good time. I went out last night. I saw, Lori saw one person. I saw a couple people in the mask. What I think is weird is there's that video, the guy's going around at New York hospitals and he's saying that hospitals there's nobody at. There's talk of nurses being laid off. And then there's talks of how, you know, they're building emergency hospitals and I guess different things are happening in different areas. I guess maybe it's about the fear. But once again, fear gets more people killed than what any bacteria ever will. People wearing masks, you can tell who's watching CNN. Yeah, you can, Jonathan. Well, who's watching CNN or who has like significant immune problems? Hydrochloric acid to treat coronavirus, does it work? I don't really care, to be honest with you. That's an interesting news thing, but it doesn't matter to me. My immune system deals with, well, first of all, once we talked about it, what is a virus, right? It's I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. Nope, not even going to talk about it. Because they're going to get me. They're going to get me. I don't completely understand it. I realize now that you can't catch it. It can be injected in you, but you cannot catch it. I get that. So the idea they call it the coronavirus, you know, it's your body goes through a cleansing, and it does it every flu season. Your body picks up when other people are going through cleansings because that's how our bodies work, through biophotons and scent and other things that no one on the planet understands yet. And so when other people are going through it, you go through it. You go to the office, other people are going through that cleansing, you go through that cleansing. Why? Because your body's in constant contact with everybody around it. Sure, you can catch bacteria, but that's a whole nother discussion. So, I don't really care about that. I'm gonna make my smoothies, I'm gonna drink, and stay healthy, so my body needs to go through these cleansing cycles less when other people around me are going through them. And that kind of explains why, to me, anyway, why when I pick up like sick kids and babies and stuff, they're coughing in my face and I never get the flu, I never get the viruses or any of that stuff that they have. I think it's multifaceted. Nobody really understands it, but the thing that we know is people in the mainstream media absolutely do not understand it. And it's a for-profit media and they got jobs for profit and they're building personalities on it. And that's all I really need to know. Folks with leukemia, for example, are also wearing masks. Well, right, and that's my point, Rebecca, is I get that people out there who need to be concerned are doing that. And that's why I don't laugh. I laugh here, I don't laugh, brother. It amazes me that today actually happened. Larry King, Andrew Cuomo for president. Okay, I honestly don't care about that. I would like to eject that from my mind. The fact that we have presidents are why we're here. The fact that we've kept kings and lords in power is why everybody's sick. Literally in every way. Putin and Trump talk as oil prices hit new low. I don't care about that either. Once again, there's a UFO flying around on television now. Putin and Trump got together to talk about the UFO and that gun camera and free energy and releasing the patents that they have, 1,000 patents, and then that would be something I'd be interested in. I'm not interested in fake news no more. I'm not interested in talking about the side effects. I'm not interested in talking about unsolutions. I'm not interested in solution-ish. I'm interested in real solutions. And if you're not talking about the real world and real technology, you're not talking real solutions. You're wasting everybody's time. That's real talk. That's all I'm saying. COVID-19 eroding civil liberties, gone for good. No, COVID-19 is not eroding civil liberties. COVID-19 is doing what COVID-19s do. It's the people who are eroding civil liberties. It's scared people. So once again, and that's lying now. I appreciate lying now. But it's the fear that's doing. It has nothing to do with any sort of COVID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 19, or 22. It's because people don't realize the scams that government always pulls to get your rights because they're very powerful. They're a power-based system, which is government. They'll do anything to get more power because they're a system, and that's what systems do. Study, brains of bullies are smaller than other brains. Okay, well, size matters. I suspect, I guess, every baby's perfect. They're all born perfect. If they're given the life of a bully, then they're going to be a bully. Stop giving babies lives of bullies. Olympics rescheduled, sport goes viral. Don't care about the Olympics. Haven't watched the Olympics in I don't know how many years, since I was probably 15, so I really don't care about that neither. That's unimportant to me. Not in the grand scheme of things. Not in the scheme of things that we have a world we can fix, and we probably should fix that world. We should probably go after the industries that cause the problems. We should probably go and change the systemic models so none of this nonsense happens again. Saudis spying on travelers to America. Don't really care about that. The Saudis are my cousins. They're stupid. They're a little stupid. The government is, because they won't let women drive cars. So I don't really care that they're spying. I'm not sure what that's about. We can watch that if y'all want to. I just don't find that to be important today. I don't think it has anything to do with the kids down your street have parents who've lost their jobs and they're going to need food. Oil demand plummeted due to the price war and coronavirus. Okay, well, oil prices should fall. Oil should literally go out of business. I want all big oil to fail. Absolutely, it'll help the human race. Galloway questions Boris Johnson. Unproven claims of recovery. Nothing's going to recover yet because they don't want to recover it yet. They're collapsing the middle class. They have to let this thing blow full all the way through. I see people in the store that obviously have little money left clutching one or two items and searching carefully. Heartbreaking. Yeah, Lori, well, this is unfortunately why they're going to put the National Guard on the street. They're going to expect people to starve to death in their homes. And that's going to be a bad thing because a lot of us are privileged. A lot of us have food on the shelf. And when bad things happen, then good people do bad things to survive. And people have to be running out of money, and I'm pretty sure people have already run out of money. If your government cared anything about you, they would have sent checks the day or the day before they agreed to a lockdown, and they didn't do that. They don't give two damns about their citizen, wealthy or not, because they know people are going to act up. They sold their shares, they profited from it, and they kept secrets, which is why, again, another way this is all a pandemic. They planned it, factual. All of this has been planned. But if they cared about people running out of food, if they cared about their citizens at all, if their job was to do that, then they would have taken care of that Lori before they even shut things down. And they didn't. Plus, everything's a scam anyway, Lori. Like there's certain rules around who will get a check, when, why, if you filed, and taxes, stuff like that. So there's always like these weird schemes and scams, and different organizations are using you in different ways. They're trying to get people to file taxes who haven't filed taxes in a long time. So there's still all that. They're walking people through hoops. Same with people who wear masks but then stand right next to the other people. Help me to understand that. What is that about, Marie? What is that? I don't know what that's about. Are you talking about some sort of herd immunity type stuff? Countryside is more safe to be now. I think that is very true, Christine. I feel for people trapped in New York City. I did that, moving down in comments. That's another thing. If the government cared for you right now, they'd be growing lots of food. They wouldn't have given $2 trillion to their criminal friends on Wall Street. They'd have given $2 trillion to farmers, small farms. They'd have given away land. They'd have given out seeds, chickens, chicken coops. And they would do things to help people to make it through a situation that's being caused an artificial greatest depression. And they're not doing that. So I think beautiful things might come out of it. I think people might actually stop believing in the Truman Show. Not big as in corporate, big as in size. They are all family farms. Right. Well, if they would start big megs, I think they'd be bailing out the family farms if they actually cared. They would understand. If they actually had half an education, they would realize that a community is sustained by small systems that can take care of themselves. That's how you have a strong nation. You have small local systems. When you have small local systems, anything big can happen at the big level and nobody cares. It doesn't, it might affect certain areas, but we know Tupelo, Mississippi is going to be okay. Chenagua, Alabama is going to be okay. New York City had food being grown on all the tops of those massive buildings. and they were sustainable, they weren't a food desert, they'd be okay. Puerto Rico would be okay. But they don't want that. They don't want individual non-central failing systems. They want one big failable system so they can fail it when it's profitable. And that's what's happening right now. Which is why I said yesterday, I've said all along, I appreciate people like Jacques Fresco, Dr. Shiv, and the rest of them who are really have engineering minds, people who work in jobs as solutioners, like developing solutions and testing them to make sure that they actually work. If they actually wanted to solve problems and they wanted a stable nation full of stable people, they would be supporting small businesses and small farms and small people. They're not doing that. They're supporting their criminal friends. But hey, the Democrats say to do it. The Democrats doing it, so I'm sure it's a good idea. The Republicans doing it, I'm sure it's a good idea. Trump's doing it, so I'd almost guarantee he's fighting child trafficking. I want to make a post later today regarding the unemployment levels. Very, very frightening. Thank you, Ivana. You should. You should. Your friends, you probably get the award of the most gaslit friends on the internet. I love Ivana to death. I hate her post. I hate her feed. Your friends are lost. Your friends are gone. We need to get Ivana some new friends. If y'all are still on Facebook, y'all need to go friend Ivana Noki. Don't get her in trouble. But your friends would definitely believe in the system. I've spent time on her thread. But you should, because the logic of it. We know we're in a Great Depression on the other side of this. What are people doing to prepare for that? Lots of deer and resources in the northern woods of Wisconsin, and the Great Lakes are nice to have. Yep, fresh water, clean air, very important things to have. All right. That is both fun. How many times have I said that our culture is at war with reality, existence itself? Narcissism, sociopathy has been killing us for better than 5,000 years. It is. We are definitely at war with ourselves, Bofan. We are at war with ourselves. We have a profit-based system that makes everybody a profiteer that is self-harming itself. And we cheer for it and we clap for it. And at some point in time, it's going to be enough and it's going to collapse. And hopefully this is the one that's going to collapse. I'm going to bring some cash to share with those in need next time. Just a little can help. It absolutely can, Lori. I used to get in trouble. I used to give money to homeless people. People don't like that sort of thing. So, and then I would buy them lunch. This is back when I would do what people say, but you're supposed to help people. If you have it, you should be helping people. There's no question about that. Because you never know when that person's good, you're gonna need help from them. But we're still an ecosystem. It all builds up into either a massive violent collapse or a massive collapse of people who are collaborating and building a new world based in working together. And if people actually start working together, Lori, looking out for each other, they will never get their political system back. And that's kind of what I want. I don't want them ever to get that political. That was the ugliest, most horrible, ignorant, foolish, foul, funky, stinky, stupid, ignorant, childish, immature political system that has ever existed on the planet of the earth. That was the system that Plato talked about. That was what they warned about. That's what the Atlanteans warned about. That was I hope that they never get that political system back. It was ignorant. It was the worst the Democrats and the Republicans in my country are the worst episode of Black Mirror that has ever existed. It was the most scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Hopefully they never get it back. And if people start working together, they won't ever get it back. Because then when small communities build each other up, they're not going to turn their back on each other ever again. Not for a long time. So it's good to look out for each other. March is gone like a whimpering lamb. It is gone. Today's the last day, isn't it? Today's the last day of March. Yes, Rebecca. It is the last day. Who is that? Jeannie. Good morning, Jeannie. Somebody told me something about the hospital ship. What is going on with the hospital ships? They said that this might be the end of big pharma. That something about Trump and the hospital ships. Does anybody know about that? I don't know anything about that. It's official. Fed prodding politicians for insider trading, which is a phenomenal and fantastic thing. Unfortunately, the problem is it's official. That's the problem. I'm glad that it's in the news, but it's not. They'll always take care of themselves. All right, you got criminals investigating criminals. I'm not too interested in the outcome. You've got powerful people who are corrupt and dirty investigating powerful people who are corrupt and dirty. Why would you trust the outcome of that system? So I think it's great that it's news. I have no trust and faith in the outcome. Literally, corrupt, dirty criminals. Why is war in Syria still raging despite coronavirus? Because the U.S. government doesn't actually care about coronavirus. They're using it as a profit scheme, like all other levels, right? You know, I guarantee you the Tiger Kings are using this as a profit model. Everyone's using it. You know, if they actually cared about their people, they would end the war in Syria. They wouldn't be manufacturing more bombs to drop on people. But the problem is, the fight has always been the haves versus the have-nots. That's the only real fight that's ever been fought. And the haves aren't going to stop their corruption at the top. They really don't care nothing about the have-nots, and they never will. Yeah, Yemen, Anna's another one. Yemen is another one, right? You know, they're not stopping starving children in Yemen. And that's really my basic philosophy is to just look at the principle of it. Would a federal government that starves children until their bellies pop and their belly buttons pop out and they die, would that government actually care about adults in its own country? And I can't see where that's logical to me. I can't see where that makes sense. They would only do it as a scheme because they're on television to keep people hoping and cheering a bullshizzle system to keep it up. But they won't do it because they actually at any human level give a damn about human life. Like George Carlin said that. What his quote? I think I might have posted that this morning. Oh, you know, this is a different quote where he said that the system has just enough bullshit, just enough to hold it all up. But he had another deep quote I gotta show you. I appreciate George Carlin. This was a man way before his time. He said something to the effect of how dirty and corrupt our government is. And if honesty ever made it into a system that's based in lying, that the whole system would collapse. Here's this quote right here. And he's right, because the truth is finally here and it's collapsing. And there are many great truths. There are many great truths of why we're collapsing right now. A lot of great truths. Here he goes right here. This man was a prophet. I think he said something very prophetic right there. He said, if honesty were introduced into the American system, the whole system would collapse because the whole system is based on lies on different levels by different political parties, and none of it's good. They've convinced the people that is good, it's not. And right now, the people who you're cheering the new solutions to come save you, your saviors, they broke your immune systems. They broke your immunity. They've made you sick and unhealthy. And so bacteria is doing what it's supposed to do. I think that you have other things that are at play like 5G and Twinkies and everything else that they have going, whatever they're spraying out of them airplanes. But in reality is the truth is here and we don't like it. We don't like it. And it's banned and being censored online. People are saying what's true. The truth is here, that these criminals are not your friends. These criminals are not on your side. These criminals never have been on your side. And it's not the people, it's not the politicians, it's the system. The job is literally to feed the system. If you don't follow Dr. Shiva, you should. Carlin is my all-time favorite comedian. He is on it, and that's why they had to kill him. I kind of believe the conspiracy theorists are right, the ones who say that they killed him. He actually saw the system a long time ago. One of those ships rolled into New York yesterday. Okay, well, I think, Anna, what they were saying, somebody was saying this, that they're using those hospital ships to help people. Something about the hospital ships are only helping critical care patients or something like that. It's hard for me to swallow. It's hard for me to swallow because I've never seen that before. I've never seen kings and lords try to save a medical system that benefits them only. So it's surprising to me. All right. Let's see. People are wearing gloves, afraid of a virus, but throw them on the ground all over the parking lot. If you believe the news, you're either completely ignorant or completely selfish. Susan, I saw that. And I was going to take a picture of it. Because people are literally going into stores because they trust the news and they're scared to death. So first of all, they're buying it. Are those latex or plastic? Are they made from big oil? So they're feeding a corrupt, dirty, foul, funky system. They go in the grocery store because they're scared. They don't want to touch anything. And when they leave, they just throw it on the ground because they're so scared. They're so scared they don't want to put it in their car, right? And these are people who don't care. They're watching news that doesn't care, and there are people who don't care. You know, but it's all this fear that kind of drives all of that. Hospitals inside are empty. Weird. That is weird, Christine. And that's what reports are coming in and saying, that they're empty. But if you watch the news in America, you won't see that, Christine. It's pandemonium. Pandemonium. I don't listen. Like I said, I see when I go to different websites, they got CDC information and pictures and everything everywhere. But everyone's scared, and families, the hospitals are filled up and the nurses and can't handle it. And we all need to cheer the doctors and the nurses, according to that Corbett video. Is everybody supposed to, where's that, Italy? Everyone's supposed to come out of their houses or lean their heads out the window. And what are they supposed to do? Clap or something for the healthcare workers or something? And they had that dramatic music and they showed everybody clapping and thanking all the nurses and doctors. And I'm just like, yeah. He linked that to Wag the Dog, right? Where they do it with the military. And they're just like, hey, everybody, we need to thank the military for their service and thank them for their service. I thank the military for their service all the time because I come from a military family. But I don't thank them for going over there shooting guns, dropping bombs or grenades. I thank them because they came home, they told me it was all a lie. And I thank that service all the time. I thank the nurses and the doctors for their service as well, not their service to the AMA. Same way, not their service to the big pharmaceutical companies, not their service to the medical industry, which has failed completely. And this is a good sign of how they've actually failed and we don't have a medical system. The same way the military industrial complex wants you to cheer the soldiers, the medical complex wants you to cheer the doctors and nurses. I cheer them individually. I cheer them for telling us the truth about what a virus is. I cheer them for helping out the people that they can and having that love and speaking against a system that's been lying to us. But I don't cheer them for what they're doing for big pharmaceutical profits and stocks. And his point was they always use that down the road, right? They always abuse those people and use them down the road, like the soldiers. How many homeless soldiers are in America? How many soldiers are in prisons in America? How many soldiers commit suicide every day? They haven't even updated that statistic because they don't want to. Right? They don't give two damns about the soldiers. They never have. All they care about is you believing the Truman Show, you thinking that that's not a light that just fell down. So now they're doing that with the doctors and nurses. I think you thank them on a personal level. You thank them for being honest about, the times that the nurse will whisper in your ear, don't take that medication. The doctor will tell you when they're not under contract that, you need to take less medications. I thank them for that. I thank them for being human beings on personal levels. But I don't thank them for contributing to a system. And it's not going to happen. That's on James Corbett. Yeah, that was his last video, Max. I can't play his videos, but that was his last video. Oh, y'all hear Gerard? He's coughing up. I got a text last night. How you doing? I was checking on family. It's like, everybody okay? Okay, everybody got somebody essential in the house. Everybody, everyone okay. It's like, oh, you kind of sound like you're scared. No, I'm just checking on everybody. How's your health? I drink smoothies every day. You really have to ask me that. If I get a tickle in my throat, that tickle is gone in no time. You don't have to worry about me. Worry about you. And I got this other text message this morning about the children. Oh, Lord. Just feeding the fear in the pandemic. This is how you help the children. Like, first of all, unless the CDC changed their statistics, here you go right here. Unless the CDC, wait, is this it right here? Spontaneous. Here you go. Spontaneous. This is the name of the video, Max. Spontaneous. The total spontaneous health worker balcony applause phenomenon. But yeah, less than 2% under 19 actually died either. Kids are carriers. So I think this was it right here. Everybody's coming together. Where is the picture from? They had the music and it was like real dramatic that everybody, I guess it was in Europe somewhere. Yeah, I guess they all got together and came out, clapped and sang and thanked the medical workers.
Folks, you may be thinking to yourself, why did James put that happy music across that clip montage? Why did he make that? I want to tell you, I did not make that. The AFP News Agency made that and put that music on top of it. Go watch the actual video that'll be linked up in the show notes. They are actually playing that music in the background as they show the happy montage of people dutifully applauding. So, wow! Isn't that amazing? Just spontaneously, out of the ether, out of the zeitgeist, somehow this idea has arisen spontaneously all around the world in all these different places that at a certain appointed time. Wait, who appoints this time and how? How did that happen?
People making big profits from it. All right, I'll post a link where y'all can watch it. But yeah, Corbett, he nailed it. It's a wag the dog situation. It's literally pump the pharmaceutical, pump the vaccine, pump the solution that's coming. Why? Because when you get people together and they're cheering this, they're cheering the medical industry. Like, this isn't a cheer for doctors and nurses. They don't give two damns about doctors and nurses. It's a cheer for the medical system and their solution. And the medical system failed. And most doctors and nurses will tell you that if you ask them behind the scenes, and the scientists who actually work on these things. But they need you to take it. And so it's just drama. Yeah, it's just drama. They're building up a system. They don't give two damns about the nurses and the doctors, because if they did, they would literally start doing things to help people boost their immune system. They don't want you to have an immunity. They don't want you strong, how George Carlin said it. They don't want a critical thinking population that can think for themselves and know how to eat deep leafy greens and make smoothies and eat things how their body has been eating for millions of years. No, they want you sick, because when you're sick, they'll do whatever you tell them. All right. I do feel badly for my son. There's no jujitsu, no parkour, and he was already homeschooled, so his boredom levels are pretty high. But Anna, that's because they're giving kids the trauma. They're giving kids the trauma. This is a traumatic event. This is one of the most traumatic events that's ever occurred. And they're building that narrative for the children where, oh my gosh, we had to shut down the whole world, and the medical industry came in to save us. The big pharmaceutical companies, they made something and they saved the whole human race. We almost went extinct back in 2020, but we made it because of them. So we need to stop these anti-vaxxers. We need to stop them from saying things that are untrue. And meanwhile, all my posts this morning were about the immune system, right? Real natural herd immunity is lifelong, right? That's real natural immunity. And really the fight is between a medical industry that's trying to get you to outsource your immunity from within you, from a biological system that's worked for who knows how many millions of years, to people who were just born 50 years ago because they figure they can make a whole lot of money from it. And this is all Rockefeller. This is all that old Rockefeller, big pharma. The very basis core of the model is broken. All right, let me see. Folks in Marin are howling at the coyotes, but there's also real coyotes starting to wander the quiet city and suburban streets around here. Well, Jeannie, I'm actually okay with that. I like the sound of that. I think the coyotes, I think they should take the streets back. I think the coyotes should take it to the streets. I like that. I don't think the people should. Nature should take it back. I'm sure that weeds are making their heyday. People aren't cutting their grass, then dandelions are growing, and the bees and the pollinators are going to have plenty of food this year. It'll be an interesting year to see what happened. Popo was caught on some howling at 8 p.m. Just got a message that there's an urgent COVID-19 travel dialysis needs. Travel ready, ? Wow. You know what, Lori? You're the nurse. I have no idea what that means, but I'm glad, like I said, I'm thankful for people like you. I'm thankful for people who actually get their hands in it and come back and tell us what we need to focus on and what not, and be honest about it. All right, we have a mountain lion around just waiting for them to come out. I know that makes sense, Jeannie, that the mountain lions are hungry. The Americans have been inside. Nature is going to take it back if we don't take it back. So anyway. Fauci death toll to hit 100,000. Okay, thank you for that. However, how many people die from the flu every year? I forgot. It was something like between, 500,000 and 1 million every year? Something ridiculous like that every year, not in America, but around the world. So this virus has a lot of work to do, whatever this is. Pandemic, virus, flu season. It has a lot of work to do to catch up to last year. Panic in India as laborers rush to leave the cities. Yes, and that's what's going to happen in America, which is why they're going to lock down the borders and blow up those bridges to New York. That's the real profit mogul isn't the virus. The real profit mogul is people acting stupid and not looking out for each other. U.S. extends self-isolation to April 30th, right? And this is why it's going to extend and extend. They said that too. People said it too. It's like, this is not 2 weeks. This is not 2 weeks. You cannot crash an economy and destroy the middle class in 2 weeks. They're going to hold this out over a couple of months. And I know new people when you join, they're like, what in the hell is he even talking about? We must sound like some aliens. They're like, but the virus, you got to be scared of the virus. It's like, no. You got to start at the beginning. That's why I kind of blue screen when I meet someone new, and it's just like, sometimes I'm just like, okay. So there's so much work to do. You have to go back and like educate yourself on so many things. But that's the whole purpose of the Truman Show, right? You know, they basically make a whole narrative, and it's almost impossible to wake people up. The steak tastes so delicious. Dillis Miller cannot stop laughing at Dana Carey's and Carvey's impressions. Okay, coronavirus wreaks havoc on markets and lives. Good, it should. Hopefully it collapses them. Then we can build a market that's not based on slavery and war. Media changing to cope with the coronavirus. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're making a lot more money. I'm sure they're going to get great retirements from this. That's a laughter. No coyote curfew yet. Well, it's coming, Jeannie. It's coming. If a government can send you to their room, they can damn sure give you a curfew. Wow, Jane saw the meme, animals watching people inside. We're now in the zoo. Christine, when have we ever not been in the zoo? When have we ever not been in the zoo? We are always in a zoo. I think we're always in a zoo. If you think about it, why the aliens don't come here? Because we're in a zoo. They don't want to get their hands bit. We eat our own. We still got carnivores and what are they called? Cannibals. We still have financial cannibals. We teach our children to financially cannibalize each other, starting with grades. Aliens don't want to come here. We're in a zoo. The billionaires, the trillionaires, they don't want to come here. To the trillionaires, the billionaires of the zoo, they're just watching them monkeys. Like, nah, I don't even want to see y'all monkeys. They don't even come on TV. The people with the real money, they don't even show up on TV. They're not even interested who the government is, what's the name of your country. They own everything. Then the billionaires in Dubai, I almost called it Budai. In Dubai, they don't even walk on the street with the millionaires. They don't even want to, they're in the zoo. The millionaires, because the billionaires, they got that taxi that flies from top of building to top of the building. So they just look down from on high down at the monkeys down in the zoo like, look at all them poor millionaires. I don't want to go down there. I might actually catch something, little nasty things. The millionaires, they got gates on their community. You're not allowed to come in their community, but they'll sit in their community and watch you from the outside. You know, you can't go to their parks and their country clubs. You're not even allowed to go to the bank. You can't park where they can park, and you're not allowed in their lines at the fun park. You know, we're always in a zoo. And now animals got their turn. The animals just walking through the neighborhood like, damn, where the monkeys go? Hey, where the monkeys? They used to like the monkey around. They all up in their cages now, huh? I guess they got in trouble with mama. Mama said they need to all go to their room, huh? They come probably the deer be knocking on the door soon, the bears. Hey, can y'all come out and play yet? And the Americans inside looking out. Nah, mama didn't say we can come out yet. We can't play. Our room is still dirty. But the Americans, they come out. They're gonna be an interesting bunch. People gonna act a fool when they come out. But that's gonna be a couple months down the road. That's been in estimates, couple months to 18 months. The 18 month is kind of scary. Your friends that come out, you're not gonna notice them. You're not gonna recognize them. You're not even gonna know who they are. Face is gonna be a little rounder. Everybody's gonna be a lot paler. So yeah, that's hilarious to me. Banks don't want to be boycotted. Calling their participants is nice. Are the banks calling people, Rebecca? Giving out loans and stuff? They're gonna do anything they can to hold this system up. Everybody's gonna do everything they can to keep their slavery. They're gonna do everything they can to keep Babylon their plantations. No question about that. Mama didn't send us out the room. Yeah, no, mama, gotta ask mama, Rebecca. Gotta ask mama. Mama government, the nanny state. So y'all need to go to your room. You don't wash your hands. You believed everything that we told you. You ate what we told you. You put the pesticides on the crop just like we told you. You put the makeup on just like we told you. You breathe in all those chemtrails just like we told you. Now y'all sick. No, you got to go to your room. Nope. Go to your. You watch the commercials and bought all the medications. Ignored all the side effects. Y'all need to go to your room. Let the epigenetics flip your DNA so you don't have a functioning immune system. Go to your room. You did exactly what Mama said. Now you need to go to your room. It's a pandemic. They planned it. They planned it all, whether cognitively or incognitively. They planned the whole thing. We got evidence of both, from the insider training to everything else. So yeah, Mama sent everybody to their room. Mama's not ready to let y'all out your rooms yet. But that's just where we are. I'm concerned that my country too, country travel will be restricted. Oh, you can expect that, Mags. You can expect that. You can expect some travel restrictions. You better work on your excuse now. No question about that. They're building a new world. We're building a new world. 1930. You had a super rich and you had a super poor. And the super poor will have no resources to oppose the super rich. And who said that? One of the guys who said it, he's a little crazy. He gets a little loopy sometimes. David Icke. The world is run by a cult. All they want are big businesses and slaves. That's it. One big plantation, lots of big, massive industries running everything, like the Amazons, and everybody else is a slave of the system that can't oppose it. There's something big going on with the central banks, Federal Reserve, Treasury right now. Anyone know what the truth is to that? Max, let me check my email. I'm sorry, I'm just joking. They don't send me emails, Max. They don't let me know. I'm in their zoo. They own me. I'm in their zoo called America. And I'm in a cage called Pennsylvania. Specifically in that cage, I'm in another little area. They own me. They don't tell me anything. But you using a little critical thought, most people can see, based on what your financial friends will tell you and the small banks will tell you, that things are shifting. And they're coming up with a new scheme, but it's not broken. That's why I don't like the word broken. Oh, the financial system is broken. No, it's not. Oh, the currency is broken. We got to do something to fix it. No, it's not. This was a design. That's how fiat currencies work. They are designed to fail. They will eventually fail. And when they do, they have to put a new scheme in because they're unsustainable. You know, we have to have a stance on to ban everything unsustainable. What else we got? Media changing to cope with blah, 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 blah. I don't believe media, so don't care. On contact, I love Chris Hedges. IF Stone with D. Guten plan. Okay, I don't know what that is. Estonia's victory over fentanyl unleashed a greater problem. Absolutely, because problems are profitable. That's how this works. The more problems you give to people, the more power you get, the more profit you make. That's just how it works when you have a capital-based system. Doesn't matter if it's socialism, communism, or capitalism. As long as it's based in capital, everybody's a profiteer, and they all got their own little cultural phase about what is sin and what isn't sin. What is good and what is evil. What is good to make money and what is not good to make money with. RT sits down with big wave surfer Maya Gamblaria, okay? Woman gives birth in toilet paper aisle of Walmart. That's supposed to happen. You don't have a medical system. You literally have dracoons that make money selling you chemicals. And soon they're going to be forcing you to take those chemicals. Auto sector stalling. Good, it should stall. We should have, the auto sector is late. It's late. The auto sector should have died in 1910 when they made the first electric car. That's when it should have died. It should have stalled back then. It needs to stall, it needs to choke, it needs to fall off the edge of the cliff. That's what needs to happen. So I'm good with that too. And all the workers, but what about my job? You suck at your job. You don't make cars that work on electricity and hydropower and free energy and electromagnetic gravitics. No, you suck at your job. You need to go make some memes. People are funny on the internet. They're creative and good at craft. You need to raise your children. I don't know. You need to love your wife or something. Love your husband. That's what you need to go do. You don't need a job. Don't worry about it. They print the money. They've been printing the money for themselves for a long time. They can print the money for you. They're showing you right now. They literally printed trillions of dollars for their criminal friends on Wall Street, and they gave you $1,200. That's the scam. So yeah, the auto industry, the whole thing should fall. You shouldn't have anything called an automobile anymore. We should be flying Jetson jets, UFOs. Lawmakers' priority is to bail out large corporations. Hedges, and this is true. I gotta watch Hedges because Hedges is the man, and this is very true. That's their only priority. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. I know it was fun drama for a while. You and Obama and Trump and the Bernieites and everybody. It was fun drama. But now General Hospital needs to come to the end with Young and the Restless and Guiding Light and all the fantasies that everybody has about these lords are coming to save us. They go save their criminal friends on Wall Street. That's how a for-profit system works.
By placing moratoriums on evictions and utility shutoffs. However, some tenants say that's not enough and have responded by calling for a statewide rent strike. So joining us to answer that question about what to do, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and host of...
I kind of like the sound of that. I do. I kind of like, I don't think you own land. I don't think you own land. I don't think anybody owns land. I think you're a fool if you think you own land. I think that's stupid. I think you can work the land. I think you can share the land with the bees, the birds, the monkeys, the slugs and snakes and microbiology and everything else that needs to fly by and other humans. I think you can cultivate the land. I don't think you own the land. So I agree with this. My only issue with a rent strike and a mortgage strike is it needs to be global and permanent. That's my only issues with it. I don't think human beings should own anything. I think it's dumb. We've destroyed the whole world on this idea that you own things and you can't take nothing with you. And if you're, I used to be in I was raised in the church. We used to have the prosperity minister preachers.
Oh, well, you got to make money. That's successful. That's when God's blessing you.
That is not when God is blessing you. That is when Satan is working with you. That is not when God's blessing you. When you own a lot of land and have a lot of money, prosperity teachers. No, Jesus overturned the tables in the church for a reason. Not so you would go off and create a sinful religion given to you by Satan. No. You are supposed to be sharing Eden. You are supposed to be a steward of the land, stewarding, not an owner of the land, owning the humans that live on it, or the monkeys.
RT America's On Contact, Chris Hedges is here. Chris, so inside this stimulus bill that was passed in the Senate and now just the House, is this is a relief for federal loan mortgage holders? We already know that, but there's no relief, it appears, for renters who actually make up 36% of all American households. 65% of those households are under 35, and the majority of renters are Black and Latino people across the U.S. So what does that say about the priorities of the lawmakers?
Well, we know what the priorities are. The priorities are to bail out large corporations like airlines, and it looks like there's a loophole, so even Trump businesses will get bailed out. Money given at 0% interest, which can be leveraged 10-to-1 to large banks, and a pittance tossed at the rest of the population, who, if figures are correct, are about to endure a 30% unemployment. So a rent strike, there may be a de facto rent strike, just in the sense that people won't have any income. Only 1 in 4 people can work from home, and those who, especially in the lower working class, who make up the service economy, have been tossed out of work with they might get a check for $1,000 or something, which will get funneled right back into the credit card company. So I think we're headed into uncharted economic catastrophe, in some ways even worse perhaps than the 1930s after the 1929 crash, because 70% of the U.S. economy is based on consumption. We no longer manufacture much of anything other than weapons, which is part of the whole crisis, in that we have this desperate shortage of the kind of vital medical equipment, even in terms of gowns and gloves and masks, that a country of our size and wealth should have stockpiled and produced. So there will be economic pressure, without question, that will force tens of millions of Americans to respond in radical measures. And I think this talk of a rent strike is an indication of the kind of desperation and desperate responses that are going to be inevitable as we roll forward in the weeks and months ahead.
Now, Chris, I mean,
before the next question, I want to jump in there real quick. So yes, it's a scam. It is a scam. And I'm not disagree with Megs. Said the person that we rent from is the original owner. No, they're not. No, but all the original owners are dead, and if you can even call them that. We all come from tribes where nobody owned the land. They all literally were mobile. They shared the land with everything here. They were wiser people who understood that you had to share the land. And you shouldn't feel bad to not pay them because, you know, they don't own the land. They stole the land. Not the person you rent from, but from the people who actually killed everybody else and stole all the land in the nation that you live in. They murdered people, they raped them, and they took their children and burned down their settlements and said, hey, we own this land. And then they sold the land. So they're thieves. The land came from thievery. The land is stolen. It's not just stolen from the humans that live there, but it's stolen from the ecosystem. So, you know, I think that in times like this, it's difficult because I do understand what Megs is saying. I mean, in times like this, it's difficult. If somebody invested their life savings and they bought property and they have people renting there and that's their means of income, it makes sense that they get something for it. But the reality simply is your government told you that you have no ability to utilize their system. They said you have to stay home. And if you didn't save up, then you can die, which is wrong. And the $1,200, like he mentioned, it just feeds the system. It's just enough money so you can probably just pay rent, mortgage with some of your savings. It's just bleeding people dry even more. And that's probably where they got the number 1,200, because they just want people to make a payment to refeed the system, but not anything that will help anyone like gain any upward mobility. Like everything is done as a class lock. They want to keep the classes in place. They want to keep the lower class and underclass. They want to get rid of the middle class, and they want to have all the uppers. But I don't agree with ownership. Like at a principal level, like people get screwed and it's bad. And you know, I feel bad for people who invested in property and they got that property. But the reality simply is, I also feel bad for the people who've been working their entire life making $14 an hour, $10 an hour, cooking burgers or some sort of really hard labor, working 4 or 5 jobs, and those people need relief too. And that is why I say we have to reboot. We have to reboot and just go back. You got to divide the land up. Being born on human planet, you can't be born a slave, right? Just because you're born to one family doesn't mean that you shouldn't be allowed to live, that you got to pay a price to be here. You got to pay a birth tax as a penalty for being born. I don't believe in land ownership. I think people do need to share the land and work the land. And I think there are great principles we could reboot back to, but Babylon has no interest in that. Babylon wants to keep everybody in this Ponzi pyramid scheme, and they'll do anything it can to keep the system and support the system. So I completely I disagree with the idea of ownership. You can't take nothing with you. Like whatever we're here for, whatever this spiritual adventure, simulation, creation, whatever this thing is, it doesn't involve ownership. Because we come here butt naked and we leave butt naked. In fact, it's worse than that, because the naked parts you don't even get to keep. And you didn't bring them here. They were already here. We come here as spiritual creatures. We exist in these monkey things, and then we leave. And so whatever's important in life, it has nothing to do with owning any of us here.
Let me just put this out there. Do you think Capitol Hill are going to hear the voices of renters as loudly as they would hear the voices of homeowners? We have seen what happened in 2008. That was the housing bubble of homeowners. But there's a whole lot of Americans who are renters. Are their voices going to be heard?
Sure. Their voices will be heard as soon as the landlords don't get the rent. And that will, of course, deliver another jolt, perhaps disastrous jolt to the economy, along with all the other jolts that this virus has engendered. So the response of the renters will be heard. What the response of legislators who are beholden to corporate power will be may, as we saw with this stimulus package that was just passed, may be to bail out people, slumlords like the Kushners, and not actually address the economic freefall that is going to be visited, especially on members of the lower working class or the working poor.
Yes, sir.
Right. They literally planned a demic and they're making you pay for it. That's really what it comes down to. They want your savings. They want to get it all. How did Carlin put it? And they'll get it all. And they'll give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. That's why they killed that man. He told you the truth. It is a scam. It is not stimulus. It's limpulus. It's limp. You should not be excited by it. And the bits and pieces, I haven't read the whole thing because it's always a scam. I peeked at it. I'm not that interested because my understanding, and most people got to pay it back anyway. Most or all got to pay it back, and it's more of a tax credit than anything. It's not like they're giving you cash, but they gave their criminal friends on Wall Street cold hard cash. They don't have to pay anything back. You know, so it's always a scam, but they're making you pay the brunt of it. They looked and they determined how much Americans have in saving, how much you can bear, and they decided how to embezzle the money out of you. And so they created a situation where you can't work, you can't make any income, and they're going to make you pay for the pandemic they caused. And with the media and with big corporations. So to me, it's all a scam. I'm not interested in any of it. I think it's crazy. I think it's nuts. And especially as like a tax credit, come on, stop it. You got to like pay it back, or it's just a credit towards not paying taxes. That's a waste of everybody's time. But I'm glad they did it. Who was talking about that? I'm glad they did it is because now more people can see. The more they slap you in the face, the more people will feel it, right? As long as people aren't feeling it and they're cheering it, it's great. You know? So it's a good thing.
Certainly think there's a lot of work to be done there, but it's not going to be taken care of in this current stimulus bill. We have to leave it right there, Chris. Chris Hedges, always appreciate your insight on all of this. Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't, and rent strike is an interesting word. I think it makes more sense as a model strike. We need to strike against the entire model. As they're shifting to figure out which billionaires and trillionaires will own us, who will get shares of America, who will get shares of Britain, who gets to own Australia, who gets the currency in South Africa, I think we collapse the whole system. We don't need to do a rent strike. We need to do a model strike. The whole thing needs to be striked out. The whole thing has to go. We don't need to eat the rich. You don't need to be the rich. No one needs to be rich. You don't need to have power. You don't need a power-based system anymore. You don't need a capital-based system. We can build something free. We can build something equal. So why in the world would we keep cheering their solutions? Why, and this is like the medical industry. Why in the world would you go to the people who caused the problem to fix the problem? All they're going to do is just hand you another scam. Times like this create more pro-gun folks. Yes, they do, Jeannie, as it should. As it should. Because people pushed into survival mode will survive. They will arm up. And so it's funny that you have this government that's like, oh, we need to disarm the populace. And then you give them real good reasons to be armed. You know, and that's why I'm saying the whole thing is a scam. You know, I'm not even sure what y'all talking about. I'm not even gonna touch that. I'm confused on some of these with y'all talking about Dr. something, somebody sexy, Dr. somebody. Oh, Dr. Shivago, I don't know. Should not be a surprise to anyone that the fine details, the effed up bill that will screw the least among us are disclosed in later pages of the 700-page of bullshizzle. Well, it's how the bills always work, Ms. Tree, right? They're always a scam. They always support and prop up a system that should go away. They build up enough prisons to get ready. They're getting the National Guard on the street to get ready because they know poor people do what poor people are supposed to do. They're going to eat. When push comes to shoves, wolves will eat the humans. Wolves will eat their own, right? And what they're trying to do is, and this is like that whole principled model of keeping the human beings wild. That's all it is. Like, it's called stimulus. I think it's more wildulous, right? Because they make profit from wild people. They make profit from violence. They make profit from hungry people. And so the more they can do to starve up more conflict, the more power they can get from people for government, and the more profit corporations can make. Because there are more problems. And when you have problems, you run the government. So it's always a scam. Quarantine is also sifting whatever or stifling whatever protest gathering that would be going on at this time, snuffed all the marches in any kind of organizations, let alone mass anger. This is very, very true, Drini, and everyone's trapped in their house. And so people are scared, they're afraid, they can't get together, and they're going to take the check and do whatever government tells them to do. They're going to give them their rights, they're going to give them that arm, get that vaccine, get that martial law, so they can get some travel play papers and get back on the road so they can jump back into a slave plantation that never served them from the beginning. I think a lot of minds and things can change given 30 more days of increased control. I think so too, Megs. And that's why I'm fine. I'm actually fine with a lot of this. This is how we did this. We laid the stones, we put down the mortar, we built the path, we gave everything to the elite, we gave away our right to grow food, grow plants, we gave away our right to be free. We were slaves for them, we worked for them, we buy from them. We gave them the power and the keys to the whole kingdom. And it was necessary that it come back in our face. Question is what we do with it. I think they underestimated people, Megs. I think given enough time in isolation, as long as folks are talking to their neighbors, more and more people are going to be checking out that mainstream news. I think more and more people are going to see these lights falling. That's what we need. We need the lights falling. And this is probably what's happening. A lot of folks say that they were forced to do it, that they went too quick, they weren't supposed to go this quick, that they were forced to. And that's why you can actually see that this is a fake world, that the light fell. Makes sense to me. It does. They do appear to be desperate. But I think they underestimated people, and I don't think they shut the internet off fast enough. I think another 30 days is going to change. I think that the announcement is going to change a lot of things. And my only little piece of the pie I can see, Megs, my phone is blowing up. All these people are like, oh, it's crazy, conspiracy theory. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers don't run the world. The central banks are owned by the federal government. The federal government tells them what to do. Those people, hey, you got that link again? Hey, how do you save tomato seeds? Hey, you got any plants this year, brother? Which is good, and then you're supposed to share. I said at the beginning, the economic situation will kill more people than the stupid virus by a ton. Yvonne, and we were saying that from the very beginning. It is the pandemonium. The pandemonium is going to kill more people than the virus is going to bubble right out. And you have all these dead people. Why? And whenever mama says you can come out your house and play, one, nobody's going to look the same. Everybody's going to be a little chunkier. Everybody's going to be a little healthier. Everyone's going to be a little paler. And you're going to have a whole lot less rights. You're probably going to have a new currency. There'll probably be a social app that people can judge you. A social credit app that's tied to the new currency called the digital dollar. We need to start calling it a government industry. Industry has a life cycle. It eventually dies. Whew. But it's a for-profit government, Jeannie. Right? It's not even a government. It's a for-profit corporation. It's not even a government. It's a for-profit corporation. It always does what's for profit. And every corporation always comes to an end, like an industry. Absolutely. It is a for-profit corporation. It's not a government. It does not have a president. It has an administrator of a department, and the CEOs will never meet. The U.S. just signed a $450 million coronavirus vaccine contract with Johnson & Johnson. Absolutely, Rebecca, because that's the good socialism and communism that Obama did, so of course Trump is going to do it. That's what the job is. The job is embezzlement. Get the people scared so they'll run to the people who created the problem to solve the problem, that corrupt industry, and they'll make trillions of billions or however many dollars from silly people who are willing to inject in their veins. The only one way you can actually catch a virus is through injection. But that is a great scam, and they will make trillions of dollars because people will be so ready to get out their house. They'll be so sick of that husband, be so sick of them kids they love to death. They're like, I'd do anything. Shoot me, shot me, bloop me, block me, do anything you can. Take my house, take my car, take my savings. I really don't care. Just let me out this damn house. It's a great scam, but I'm hoping it'll blow up in their face. A woman said their bodies are stacked up in the coolers due to the shutdown, not necessarily from the big V. That would not surprise me, Miss Tree. They've done that from the beginning of time. Your Hitlers, your Maos, your Stalins, your Washingtons, they've all done it. So it wouldn't be surprising if they did it today. But in every way, whatever's happening, it's 100% the fault of government. 100%. You don't have any bacteria that become any massive colds or any whatever creates viruses releasing from the cells and the environment problems that cause that. It's all on government. They were never prepared. They were never trying to prepare. They don't care about flea bottom. They don't care about your middle class. They don't care about your lower class. They never have and they never will. So people are supposed to die when you give away your rights. People are supposed to die when you think you are owned by those authorities who think they own you. And plus, I think a lot of fear, Miss Tree, too. Like, I think Lori's saying, do you believe it? I think anything's possible. But at the end of the day, whether it's true or not, to me, doesn't change what I'm supposed to do. Doesn't change what I'm supposed to say. Doesn't change at a principle level what we should be doing, knowing that authorities are never on our sides. People who claim author of rights over you are never here for you to help you. And mass killings, I mean, still, so far, in human history, the biggest mass killings all come from government. The biggest killings are coming from big pharma. So why in the world would we go to them for any solutions? I won't. You can. I ain't. I'm sorry. I've already realized that I've finally gotten old enough to see the scam that they have. So I'm not really interested in their scam. Peeps are going to be full of pee and vinegar. Oh, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know anything about that. It's true. I know they're going to be full of Pepsi and Coke and jugs and all the nasty stuff that they're drinking. Yes, Hub says that they are using the ice rinks in Italy to hold the bodies. That's possible, but I wouldn't blame a virus for that personally if that's what's happening. And if so, it's an engineered thing because flu season doesn't ever go that way. So I don't know what's going on, so I don't claim to know what's going on. Peace and love is all about Sherlock Delanero. Refuse testing, refuse vaccine, stay healthy. Yep, Lori, people can do whatever they want to do. I can promise you this. You're not putting your crap in me. That's just not gonna happen. I really don't care what you think. And you won't tell me that if a slug can go out and walk in the street, so can a human being. If a deer can walk outside, so can a human being. You know, like all of this still is a narrative of wag the dog in a control system where they claim they have the ability and authority to tell a bird it can't fly out the nest. And if you are that kind of slave, all right, that's you. That's not me. I go along with things until I've had enough. And when I've had enough, I had enough. But nobody owns me. I'm not a slave. I'm not a cog. I'm not a subject. I'm a human being. I got all the rights of bacteria and slugs and monkeys and everything else. So anyway, gotta get going. This is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Y'all have a great, get out in that garden, get something growing. They've already admitted they've created the next Great Depression, and it's going to make the Great Depression look like crap. So you need to listen to them, respond to that, and act accordingly. And it's not sitting in the house